stay by my pops. 'Cause my mom, my uncle, everyone be smoking cigarettes. And back then, we all be in the house, so you just be smelling the cigarettes. And then my pops would come visit, and he would fucking bust out his pipe in that room of cigarette smoke, and it would smell good. I'm like, oh, that's dope. His smoke would take over the whole room, where the whole room would be like smell like cigarette smoke, and then that pipe shit would come save it. That was the only time I gave him props. I was like, yeah, that pipe shit was dope. It's like about the pipe, bro. The whole room would stink of cigarettes. Especially my uncle. He smoked Marlboro 100.
Come here.
Not 100. Marlboro Red.
Ooh.
He had the room smelling of Marlboro. That shit would reek. And then my pops would pop that light on that fucking pipe. The whole room is nice.
That I can recall.
Yo, my dad was the only pipe smoker I ever knew. I didn't know anyone else that smoked a pipe. I don't remember no men in our neighborhood.
I didn't know anyone that smoked a pipe.
No one. He was the only person. It was like so weird because it was like it was only so often he would smoke, and it wasn't an all the time thing. It was like it was more when there's a big group of people smoking, he would pull out his pipe. But on his own sitting, like he didn't really smoke too much just sitting by himself. It was more like a social thing. When other people would smoke, he'd pull out his pipe. But he didn't just sit there on a regular basis and smoke it. For him, I think it was more of a social thing. That's what I usually smelled it. When the room reeked, he'd pull that out. I guess that was his way of like combating all the cigarette smoke. Figured it's a perfect night to enjoy some pipe and some wine here. Cigars and tobacco in general didn't really interest me until I got into this whole pipe thing. So I figured there's got to be other people out there like myself that just randomly really get hooked to it and want to know a lot of information, and sucks to have to keep looking all over the internet. And hopefully you can get it all from one place, right? So I want to be that one place. So let's start with the first question that I had. What's the difference between pipe tobacco and cigar tobacco? They differ primarily in cut, moisture content, and curing method. The pipe tobacco is shredded, fine cut, often flavored or aromatic, and moist for cool burning, while cigar tobacco uses whole leaf long filler that is fermented, dry, and intense. So once we've gotten that, now we got to understand the different categories of pipe tobacco. The first one is the Virginias. Virginia's most widely used tobacco due to high sweetness flavor, high in sugar, low in oil, producing thin smoke due to high sugar. So other blends are added to slow down the burn. Virginias range from bright red, brown, black, stoved. Provided notes, this is generally like a hay, grass, citrus, toast, wines, dark fruits, and better with age due to fermentation of sugars. So those are Virginia. And from the Virginias, I decided to go right to the Periques because they tend to be paired together. Periques, fermented burley tobacco in logs continuously pressed for up to 1 year until black. A fragile tobacco from Louisiana, the Golden Triangle region. The taste is known to be deep fruit and peppers. So vapes are generally considered Virginia Periques. All right, since Periques are fermented burleys, what are burleys? Burleys is the most versatile tobacco used in cigarettes, cigars, and chewing tobacco. High in oil, low in sugar, creating a lot of smoke and mellow, nutty flavor. Darker versions are fuller in body with a good nicotine content and burns cool, found commonly in most aromatics. So all of those aromatics we tend to have a lot of burley. All right, and some of my favorites that I've been coming into with some of those over-the-counter blends is the Cavendish. Cavendish, traditional and black. So they're kind of two different versions. Well, prepared two different ways of Cavendish, let me say that correctly. Cavendish traditional, sweetened and pressed tobacco leaves. Cavendish black are toasted and steamed tobacco. So covers the Cavendishes. Alright, so the Latakias. Been interested in this. The black smoky smelling tobacco from Syria, but now mainly from Cyprus or the Turkish variety. Tobacco leaves hung from a barn rafter and smoked black. Has a thick texture, burns slowly, good to mix with Virginias that burn hot. When mixed with Orientals, it has an incense aroma with a bright room note. So Latakia, think incense aroma when those are involved. So the Latakias, they brought up the Turkish variety, which brings us to the Orientals and Turkish style tobaccos. Small leaf, even in sugar and oil content, primarily grown in Greece. So it's a good balanced leaf. Turkey and Bulgaria, dried in direct sunlight to cure. Added to Latakia and Virginias. So Orientals, Latakias, Virginias are in a lot of our English mixes. Some of my favorite, the aromatic blends. They are tobaccos that have high significant amount of non-tobacco flavoring or top flavorings considered casings. They are added during the production process, resulting in a distinct, often sweet aroma and flavor that is noticeable to bystanders. A pleasant room note is what that is considered. So aromatics tend to give more of that room note. So if you know a pipe smoker that smokes some really good smelling tobacco from a distance, it tends to be an aromatic a lot of times. So now let's discuss some of the OTC codger blends. They are an informal term for a widely available, often inexpensive over-the-counter pipe tobacco, OTC, blend that has been popular for decades and associated with other older everyday pipe smokers. Blends are burley based or feature a mix of burley Virginia and black Cavendish tobaccos, often with a mild topping, flavor, or casing. So OTCs, I've got a few that I've liked and a few that we'll be discussing more on this channel. I like some of those. And alright, the final type of tobacco we'll be discussing in this video will be the English blends. A traditional style of pipe tobacco known for its natural unflavored composition, primarily featuring Latakia tobaccos, which imparts a distinctive smoky, rich, and earthy flavor. The term is a style of blending, not necessarily a geographic origin. That arose from historic English purity laws which restricted the use of flavoring. So I was always under the impression that the English tobaccos were because that's where we got them from, but it's actually based on their laws, the English purity laws. They didn't allow flavoring, so that's where the English tobaccos kind of got their start, or whatever. But that's how they're classified, based on the purity laws. Good stuff. Well, that's my take on pipe tobacco. I hope you learned something. I hope a lot of the information you were looking for was right here in this one little video. I'm fascinated with this stuff, man. So I figure, hey, if I'm learning something, I might as well share it with somebody else. If you get something from it, great. Check out my playlist on pipe tobacco stuff. Check out the other stuff I got going on in this channel. If any of it you find interesting, hang out. Become a subscriber. Hang out with us. See what's going on, man. So, nice to meet you. I'm going back to enjoy my pipe and my wine.